me more.
Oh my gosh, I went to school for this.
Well, what's
I
that?
speak Colony Badish.
Great, Billy, put it in.
It says the golden pine cone.
Back here! Get back here! Hey! Hey!
Good thing I brought my candle. Jeez. Sorry.
I got any more bats down here.
More rats. Probably pigeons.
You want that tasty?
Right? Where's that right turn supposed to be?
Right turn at Albuquerque.
What was that? Holy crap!
Hello. What? Paul can't make it.
Well, you promised. What am I going to do?
The other band? No. No, Johnny. Not the other band. Okay, guys. You're on. Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I'm very sorry, but our normal band couldn't make it. So, here are a bunch of guys that are just great. Let's welcome the Simons! Hey.
One,
A man walks down the street, he says, why am I soft in the middle now? Why am I soft in the middle? The rest of my life is so hard. I need a photo opportunity. I want a shot of redemption. Don't want to end up a cartoon in a cartoon graveyard. Bone digger, dogs in the moonlight. Far away, my well-lit door. Just a beer melon, get these mutts away from me, you know. I don't find
Johnny,
this stuff amusing
Johnny,
anymore.
you gotta get down here quick. Those guys, you'll never believe it. They're great.
I can call you Betty, Betty, when you call me, you can call me out. A man walks down the street, he says, why am I short of attention? Got a short little span of attention, and all my nights are so long. Where's my wife and family? What if I die here? Who'll be my role model now that my role model is gone? He ducked back down the alley with some roly-poly little bat-faced girl. All along, there were incidents and accidents. There were hints and allegations. If you'd be my bodyguard, I can be your long-lost pal. I can call you Betty, and Betty, when you call me, you can call me out. Call me out.
This can't be what the bartender called me for.
A man walks down the street, it's a street in a strange world. Maybe it's the third world, maybe it's his first time around. Doesn't speak language, he holds no currency. He is a foreign man, he is surrounded by the sound. Cattle in the marketplace, scatterlings and orphanages.
Well, they're not that bad.
Round and around, he sees angels in the architecture, spinning in infinity. He says, hey, hallelujah, if you would be my bodyguard, I can be your long-lost pal. I can call you Betty, Betty, when you call me, call me out, call me. Na 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 na, na 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 na, na 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 na, na 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 na, na na.
the feedback there, folks. Sorry, you can turn that monitor on down out there. There, thank you, Tanya. Woo. Sorry about it at home. Those were some music videos, except for the one of the Golden Pine Cone, and we brought Dan Davis in, the main culprit behind the, sorry about the culprit,
Writer.
the writer behind the Pine Cone Posse in search of the Golden Pine Cone. Doug explained what the Pine Cone Posse was. What are your excuses for that film? I mean, what are your, what was your idea? Where did you come up with this quest? Obviously from Raiders of the Lost Ark. But
Yeah, well, definitely Steven Spielberg's one of my biggest fans, and I've
one
always
of your
had-
biggest fans.
Oh, I mean,
That was quick. That was quick. Snuck that one in.
I'm one of his, Freudian slip, whatever they call it. I am one of his biggest fans, and I've always wanted to do basically a Raiders of the Lost Ark film, and now that I had people willing to do it with me, actually get up there and start running around in front of it.
Just don't get stuck in that mode. The second film you did was a similar. You got the map. You got the map.
Yeah.
Some really neat cuts in that film that I liked. The reaction to the gorilla. You know, over the gorilla's shoulder, it was like, and then all of a sudden there they are running away from him again. And the offer of the banana toss, and the cut to there. That was an excellent sequence there. We were talking while you folks were watching the videos. We were talking about things we liked in the films we were watching. Since Kirk's not here anymore, we can talk about
him.
So what did you think about Kirk's production?
Oh, it was definitely good. Kurt Fawcett used a lot of great angles, and the sound production was definitely, off and on. When he was talking on the phone at one time, I think we said that, if he would have.
There's a little bit of a mismatch on the tonality of the thing. Yeah, and again, that's a matter of foreknowledge and planning and all that sort of thing. And again, they're learning.
That would be the only weak spot of that.
It would be helpful if we had some sound equipment too, folks. Keeping it. Yeah, who was it? Jack Parr or somebody? Who was it? I forget which television show host. Every time they mentioned a free plug on the air, a cash register rang in the background. Wish that would happen around here. But there were some really neat shots in Kirk and Brian's film. Which ones did you like? I can almost anticipate which ones they were, but let's see if our audience picked the best ones too.
Well, they used a lot of shots like the one with the guitar. He was holding the guitar like this, and you saw down it basically
down the stem of the guitar.
Down the stem of the guitar and out into like blackness. And
what was neat there that I liked was that was a moving camera. In other words, the camera came around the singer, down back behind the guitar player, and then dropped down to look at the long neck of the guitar with a dark background.
And again, that's hard for us because we don't have the equipment that we need to get those shots.
Yeah, there's nothing more dramatic than a moving camera. And I don't mean motion pictures, but the camera actually tracking through the audience. The other thing that was especially good that I liked was the lighting. A lot of times you'll see home videos that simply don't do anything with lighting. And what I mean by don't do anything with it, lighting is an art all in its own. The fact that the dark background on that guitar shot and things like that really gives it a lot of snap. It's not a flat home movie. Any other shots that you really liked? And then we'll get back to the trumpet shot.
Yeah,
Which one was that?
Where he was looking, they looked right down into the trumpet, and then they
Drew back.
The camera started right in on top of the trumpet and then pulled back, and you got to see good old Bert Buseri, and that's Bertman. The film you saw wasn't Bertman. Kirk set that up ahead of time. But that was their music video, You Can Call Me Al. They didn't know what piece of music they were going to get, and then their job was to put the pictures to match the music. Well, Dan, thanks a lot for coming. I imagine Mrs. Freeman is anxious to get both of you back down at the head end to finish on the production of Walls. And so we'll get out of here, or let you get out of here. Do want to mention Walls, the production by Gwen Freeman coming up in March. I believe it's the weekend of the 18th. And then a later production on about the 21st is a special production for the State Board of Education. And in fact, the word has it that Governor Schaefer will be here. Maybe that's an opportunity for you to tell Governor Schaefer what you really think of all of his budget cuts. I know I'll be there. Excuse me, I'm sitting here looking at a microphone we got trapped on. There we go. Sorry, Doug.
No problem.
Okay. So we'll roll the next couple of videotapes. These are not all the film festival entries yet, but we're getting there. And we'll show you a couple more films, student-produced films from Stephen Decatur High School. Roll the tape, Dealey.
Our story begins in San Francisco, where people are tanning and stuck on freeways. Madeline is leaving for the airport, anticipating an unforgettable journey.
Even though getting up at 5 in the morning, losing her luggage, and almost missing her plane were not on her itinerary, Madeline made the best of it by finally falling asleep.
I wonder who the gorgeous blonde in aisle 8 is. Oh yeah, I know who she is. She's the senator's haughty daughter, Madeline. She even looks stuck up when she's sleeping. I'd hate to have to carry her luggage. I wonder where she's going by herself.
We are approaching the Paris airport. Please fasten your seatbelts and stay seated until the plane comes to a complete stop. Thank you for flying with us.
What a long, uncomfortable, boring ride. First class isn't what it used to be. I have the feeling that man is staring at me. What a beautiful city. There's so much to do. Maybe tonight I'll go to a nightclub.
There's Madeline, the senator's sexy daughter, sitting by herself. Hello, Madeline.
How do you know my name? Weren't you the guy on the airplane?
I know your father, and yes, I was on the plane with you.
Finally, the reason I really came to Paris. Pierre's always has the latest in Chanel clothing. Good thing I brought Daddy's credit cards.
Madame, the man in the corner sent this drink to you.
Oh, it's that guy again. It seems like everywhere I go he appears. Maybe my father sent him here to spy on me. Oh, look at the jewelry in that gift shop. I have time for one more souvenir.
Meanwhile, Madeline's unattended bags are sabotaged by Hunter. He switches her plane ticket.
Now she'll have to talk to me. I'm the only one that can help her.
Last call for gate 26.
Oh, I thought I had more time. I wish I spoke better French.
Madeline falls asleep through all the turbulence on the plane.
Please fasten your seatbelts. We are approaching the Zimbabwe International Airport and will be landing in just a few moments. I hope you enjoyed your flight.
Madeline wakes up to the unexpected sight of warm, sunny weather instead of the snowy peaks of the Alps.
I know you didn't really want to go skiing, so I thought I'd take you on an African safari with me.
How do you know what I want?
Well, you don't have a choice now. I like you and I really want to get to know you better. Please come with me. Besides, an entire safari wardrobe is waiting for you at the hotel.
Madeline was planning on calling her father until she heard about the wardrobe.
I just have to say one thing. The shopping better be good here. My safari wardrobe better be decent. I better not get sunburned, and the food better not make me sick.
If you don't like it, I'll pay for your way back, and you can keep your wardrobe.
You were right. I've never had so much fun, and believe it or not, I like you too.
Madeline wrote home telling Daddy about her engagement to Hunter and all about her journey.
Daddy received the postcards and was very happy to learn that someone else would be paying Madeline's credit card bills.
Okay, folks, we're back live here at Stephen Decatur High School. You're watching the premiere broadcast into Ocean City. And again, we're apologizing all the time for the quality of the video because we're having some real technical problems here. But, you know, the talent's great. Doug Ort and I'm Terry Sterner. And what you just saw on the last couple of films were two samples of what is one of the newest categories of the State Film Festival, and that is computer-generated graphics. The problem with computer-generated graphics is that not really too many people know exactly what computer-generated graphics is. So there's lots of interpretations. The first one you saw was an animation produced on a Macintosh computer by Scott Simmons, the gentleman who's directing tonight's show and calling the shots and turning the switches. I want to mention that Scott said on that little short clip that you saw of the, called Chrysalis, That took him 12 hours to produce on a computer. And I guess maybe that's why we don't get too many computer-generated graphics programs, because they are so involved. The second was a slightly different interpretation. There was no animation involved. It was more like a slideshow. But in both cases, one of the things about computer-generated graphics is that you have to have not only computer-generated graphics, but also computer-generated sound. And so that's what you saw in those two instances. The first one was just sort of an experimental animation. The second one was more of a storyline. And that one was produced by Mrs. Montero's, what would it be, computer business, what is it, office practice? What? Computer processing class, excuse me. I should have known that before we got into this. But that is their second attempt. Last year they won the county festival with an attempt that they produced, and they took it on to the state festival. Well, Doug, I guess keep saying, jump in any time here. We're going to finish off now with one very long, well, I say long, it's about 7 minutes long, another Pinecone Posse production.
It's actually 9.5 minutes.
Actually 9.5 minutes long. The limit on the film festival is 10 minutes. So by the looks of it, we're going to see you in a while. Now we're going to let these roll on right through, and then we'll come back with our wrap-up at the end of these series of films. The other ones that you're going to notice in this is one, or actually two other categories. One was by Cindy Bunning, and it's her interpretation of the musical piece by Judy Collins called Amazing Grace. Some really beautiful photography in that particular music video. And then the last one after that is Scott Simmons. I'll mention Scott again. Scott Simmons and David Terlizzi, they entered a Super 8 animation. It's not really an animation, it's called a pixelation, where you animate live people. They've had all kinds of problems. It seems that there are not many people in the world anymore who process Super 8 film. So when they don't process Super 8 film, you have a heck of a time getting anything back from them. And what, at least Scott, 2 rolls? Scott? He's not listening. At least 2 rolls have not yet come back from the processor because they've been off for almost 2 months now. And it still hasn't come back. It's hard enough finding film to buy. It's even harder finding a place that'll process it. And 2 places have had the film for weeks, then sent it back and said, oh, by the way, we don't process this film. So it's a real short piece, but it shows a lot of potential. And hopefully by the time the state festival rolls around, they'll be able to